Why am I even playing that shit though? I can't. What's it on the beat, bro? And you rap up. Man down, calling ambulance, tell him breathe. No boys too across, they walk around like peas. What's up, Mr. Jaboni, yo? Trying to Compton. Industry can hit me fucking money, day mama. How many apps you really got? I mean, it's too many options. Please tell me if I said the N word. They not like us. 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 Once upon a time, motherfuckers in chains. Homie still double down, calling us slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, build a railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. Did I even ping at everyone on my server? No. Hector! Bad Wolf! Wie geht's? Bad Wolf, how are you doing? You Canadian motherfucker. How did I just index that shit, by the way? I forgot how to do like the whole section. I just did that. Antler EX, that's such a fuck ass bitch statement. Fuck, I missed the key. It's antler sex. How did I die there? Delete it. Yeah, Willem, this is Antler by my mother. Soon. Yes. No, Bad Wolf, what the fuck? Oh my god, pie, that perfects our pie. Also, I finally understand that pattern, Bad Wolf. You remember when I wanted to PP this and I had like zero clue how to do that? Okay, why am I... Oh my god. Bad Wolf, you know what the artist's name is? You know what the artist... I'll DM you the artist's name. Hold on. Of Antler. Oh my god, he knew! No. You're laughing at the fact that I'm watching something while doing this, but it's actually just... Wow. This shit is so boring. Well, let me not break the silence, but like, you know, everything else before that. Okay, actually NS is pretty hard. And then, million PP is just million PP. That's it. Clack, clack. Clack, clack. insane. I don't have the most. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't have the most tried attention span, because if you fucking think about it, like, if you fucking think about it, I just sit in nothing, like basically nothingness, for 30 minutes. I'm just not doing anything. So why would I waste that time? At least I want to listen to something. Fuck you, Bad Wolf. Okay, that's pretty funny now. Okay, do we just... You know what? I'm just gonna clear Kyo right then and there. Clap, 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 clap. Bam, bam, bam. No, the only possible choke point is this. Wait, -6? Holy fuck. This is the only, like, chokeable. I'm not fucking Australian. This is the only chokeable. I said it again. Chokeable. I need to practice that. Watch me piss on Hello BBM 2021 right now. No, not BTS. Did we not talk about that? That was just, I don't even know what happened there. Okay, I'll try doing BTS in a second. Let me just do this because I don't know what happened. Why the fuck am I dying? What the fuck is happening? Wait. Okay, yeah. No. Oh, okay, yeah, that's off. Okay. Who just said 2021 shat on me? Who just said that? Who the fuck just said that? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, Elcraft is here. Oh. Thank you. Bracket. I turned the volume down because the hit sounds are exactly what what I'm pressing on the keyboard. Like the song, depending on what chart you're playing, might differ, but the hit sounds is always exactly what I'm playing on the keyboard. That's why I feel like the hit sounds are just more important than the like music itself, because the hit sounds basically are the music. It's like exactly what I'm pressing. So yeah. I mean, a bit of the song is like still there. Yeah, 10 late is fucking crazy. Bit of a song. I mean, wait, how does Million PP sound if there's no song? It probably sounds the same, right? You can hear, I mean, the zip sounds the same, right? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go from 0 now. I need to whip up my goated ass video. Yeah. 2 misses after the zip, 1 miss at the fucking, what is it called? 1 miss at the, 8 key. Because I kept dying there somehow, and I just got so pissed that I just chose to 9 key it. Because I don't want to have that happen anymore. Okay, I need to whip out my Penguin Z0 video. 1 second.
Controversy directly. And I know Nadeshot doesn't own Arby's, but he brought the meat regardless. He spent about an hour and a half finally pan-searing Frosty's cheeks in front of 45,000 people. It was a pretty well done response to everything, and I do like Nadeshot. However, he said something and revealed something that a lot of people are writing off as okay when I don't think it should be. And that's the percentage that 100 Thieves takes of the sponsorship deals they bring to the creators. This is him debunking the 95% claim from Frosty.
That we took 95% of their sponsorship deals that we brought to the mob. That is unequivocally, undeniably, without a shadow of a doubt, untrue. It is absolutely untrue. There is no basis for Frosty to say this. At one point, I have an email that the key terms of these deals that we bring to the mob we would retain 85% of
Why
revenue.
should I ban you?
We
What?
did 3 deals for them, and all 2 out of the 3
probably
deals,
didn't,
they
so
took
be
home
happy.
65% of the revenue from that deal. Okay, 65% of the revenue from that deal.
To me, that's not an amazing look. This is entirely wrong. This is the biggest load of fucking horseradish I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where this 95% number's coming from. It's actually 85. You know, like, that's not much better. Wiggling your finger. Well, actually, it's 85% that will take up to. Now, Nadeshot, of course, does go a bit deeper into the weeds of it, saying that they did end up getting 65% to the mob for, like, one of their deals in particular, which was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with 120 grand, which means 100 Thieves took 80 grand. They got 35%. And that's still an outrageous amount. I have seen so many people defending this number, saying shit like, well, they wouldn't have had the sponsorships without 100 Thieves, so they're entitled to 85%. And they were generous enough to only take 35. That is a fat, stinky L of a take right there. That kind of naive mentality is exactly why so many creators have been getting fucked in the face for the last 10 years online. Most creators, professional gamers, streamers, whatever, are pretty young, and they don't realize that they shouldn't be signing contracts that have something that extreme in them, like up to 85% we can retain from sponsorships. Even if it said like 35%, that's still a glaring red flag. They don't realize they're being exploited like that. Now, I don't think Nadeshot is doing this maliciously. This is just how the industry has been for about a decade, where the big businesses know that these people are young enough to not make a big hoopla about the sponsorship cut that they take, because to them, they're just making content, doing what they love, and getting some free money on the side because companies finding ads for them. And then they'll take the lion's share of the ads when really they shouldn't. I think that's an absolute load of fucking dirty barnacles. You know, that's absolute fish paste. So, I don't think Nadeshot's doing this from a place of like evil or greed. I'm pretty certain this is what he's always seen in the industry since he's been in it so long, but that's not the way it should be. I've talked about this a lot. I started a company back in 2018 with Matt. I even made a whole video talking about it publicly. It's called Human Media Group. It's a management company where we manage hundreds of creators, some of the biggest names on the platform. We bring them brands, ad deals, campaigns, all that stuff in order to help them stay monetized and make a living out of the content they love to produce. And we started it because of this being the industry norm. I made a lot of deals on like the podcast as well as personally that were really predatory, and I didn't know any better. So over time, I learned with Matt, and we started this company to try and help my friends, and then it grew into just helping any and all creators. And with Human Media Group, we take on average 15% of sponsorship deals we bring to creators, but sometimes we even go as low as 10%. So between 10 and 15% is the cut we take from the sponsorship deals we bring to them. And that should be the norm. You should never sign something or agree to do business with someone that's going to be taking 35 or 85%, allowed 85% of the contract. That's disgusting. That's fucking disgusting. The absolute maximum you should be okay with is like 20%. That is the most any agent or company should ever possibly even toy with taking from the sponsorship deals. And I do understand that the take people keep tossing around and regurgitating like a fucking mama bird feeding the baby bird, just vomiting in each other's mouths the take of, you know, they wouldn't have the sponsorship deals without 100 Thieves. You're right, but that doesn't mean they're entitled to 85% or even 35%. They're not doing the bulk of the labor. The onus is on the creators. They're doing the heavy lifting. The reason the sponsorship deal's there at all is because the creators, and they're buying the slots from them. What 100 Thieves are doing, or what any management company does, is they facilitate that deal. They negotiate, they get the terms, and they bridge that. They bridge the deal. You can find deals on your own as a creator. You know, you can reach out to companies yourself. Sometimes companies even reach out to you. The reason why 100 Thieves or any management company at all exists and is effective is because most big brands don't reach out to individuals and don't accept people individually. They will take their ad campaign and their marketing spin to agencies or companies that have a big roster and they'll buy for them. They'll say, we have this campaign for this demographic and we want this many viewers. Who do you have for us? And that's when the company will provide you with your part of their roster, like 100 Thieves. They'll put all your name in there, and if they say yes, then you've got the deal. It's not like they're doing anything that entitles them to such a crazy cut of the sponsorship deal. It's just a pretty ludicrous notion. Yes, the companies like 100 Thieves or any management company does have access to brands that individuals won't, but still, it doesn't mean that they should be taking such of those things he mentions there, Human Media Group also has, and I assure you, 15% is still profitable. It's plenty. It's not as profitable as 35 or 85%, but it is plenty. It's not necessary to be taking such a high cut of those sponsorship deals. Now, I do understand that 100 Thieves is not a management company first and foremost. They are a professional
I
gaming
do know about
organization.
that,
They have
yeah.
content creators. They have pro gamers. I understand that, but they do have that management arm clearly, since he's mentioning this team. So I know that 35% is still outrageous, and I do get the argument that will inevitably be made that they only have like 20 creators they're getting sponsorship deals for, whereas Human Media Group has hundreds. So, you know, just going by scale, taking 15% of hundreds of deals is more profitable than taking 15% of 20. And that's a fine argument to make, like, I get it. However, those 20 creators that 100 Thieves has are massive. He mentions a $200,000 deal. That's one campaign. If you took just 15% of that, that's 30 grand from a single marketing campaign with a single member of the 100 Thieves community there. One single group. That's a great take home. It's not as much as the 80 they did take home, but 30 is plenty. So I just completely disagree with all the people defending this 85%, which I think is indefensible. But even the people defending the 35%, I just think that is still excessive, and we need to get past this idea that the companies that are getting the sponsorship deals are the ones that deserve the biggest cut of it or a massive cut of it, because that's just not how it should be. It should be the creators getting the bulk of that deal, because the deal is there because the creator's there in the first place, right? Like, it's just, we're getting it backwards now. We're starting to go in reverse here. So I just wanted to get that point across, that I think 100 Thieves, if it's 85% for all their creators, is outrageous, or even 35% is way too high. Now, I do want to go into a bit more just to conclude the entire situation here with the drama. I think overall, Nadeshot came out of this looking significantly better than Frosty. One of the big claims Frosty made is that they were completely broke when they were signed to 100 Thieves. They were forced to move to West LA, and their salaries didn't enable it to like have any quality of life, talking about like having to skip meals sometimes to pay rent, and that they were living in a $10,000 a month house. And that is true, according to Nadeshot. They did get encouraged to go out to West LA. However, they chose the $10,000 house, and even on Frosty's own street, he tried to make a point saying West LA is so expensive that, you know, all we could do was take a $10,000 house. But then he goes on Zillow and immediately proves himself wrong, just spits in his own face. He brings up other cheaper alternatives. There were some for like 5 or 6 grand a month as opposed to 10K a month. So there were cheaper alternatives where they didn't have to dump their entire salary into rent. But overall, I don't think they should have been forced to go to LA in general. No one should be. LA sucks. I fucking hate LA. I'm just not a fan. I think it's way too expensive. Their salaries are $2,500 each, and that doesn't go a long way in LA, so I don't think they should have been forced to go there anyway, but they did make a mistake choosing such an expensive place to live. Nadeshot said it was their choice to live there, and it was. He confirmed that. There were cheaper alternatives that they didn't even consider, I guess. So overall, a lot of the responsibility fell on Frosty, and a lot of these claims seem to be baseless. But it's a lot of just he said, she said. But again, I think Nadeshot came out of this looking much better. I think he did a great job of defending himself, and Frosty kind of made a fool of himself, especially towards the end where he said this.
Bro, because for me to provide proof, like, what is there to provide proof of? Like, why would I be lying? Like, I would have to show text messages. Like, this is what I mean, bro. This is why I wanted to wait.
You were the one that made the claim. You should have like something, I would expect. And what do you mean there's no reason for you to lie? You have 20 to gain out of lying. Well, you know, clout. You got what, 30,000 concurrent viewers during your stream debunking it, and you hadn't streamed in 3 months, and before that we're averaging a couple hundred. Like, there was so much to gain out of a controversy like this. There's plenty of incentive to lie. At the very least, Nadeshot was open and honest about things, even something as bad as the 85% of the sponsorship deal thing. Nadeshot also pulled up metrics to talk about like how they were doing content and certain things. Nadeshot did come with receipts as well as like actual evidence to back up what he was saying to defend the company. Frosty spent the whole stream just
That's just
saying stories and
That's
like
just
talking about things in a
self-promotion.
roundabout way. A lot of times it just seemed like straight up entitlement, like he was expecting them to bend over backwards to do everything to make them happy at all hours of the day. And so the stream didn't go super well for Frosty. I don't think he did a great job of like proving his claims.
Please don't
Maybe he'll
self-promote
come
here.
forward with like actual evidence to support these things in the future, but for now, it does look like Nadeshot like did the best here in this situation. I just wanted to talk about mainly the sponsorship thing, since that's what I took a big issue with, not so much the drama between the two of them. So that's really about it. So yeah, a class action lawsuit has been filed against PlayStation for nearly $6 billion by a consumer champion named Alex Neal. Now, I'm not Saul Goodman, but if I was, I'd start planting cocaine right now, because this is a huge lawsuit that's going to need a miracle to win, I think. I'm not an expert here, but it does seem like this lawsuit's got teeth, and they're coming at Sony's throat. 6 billion plans, 6 billion barnacles. You know how much I love wackiness. I love wackiness more than Bubble Bath loves Krabby Patties, and this lawsuit's got teeth. Now, this lawsuit is proudly brought to you by PlayStationUOS.co.uk, which is a beautiful
What the
website
fuck?
name. Like, that's pretty aggressive. It reminds me of like a Roblox petition to get their V-Bucks back or something. But this was a site
Wow.
where people would sign up who felt wronged by Sony, and Alex Neal is the class representative. And on the site, there's a 5-point breakdown that talks about why they're trying to steam PlayStation's hand. So the first point being that Sony has a near monopoly on the sale of digital games and add-on content through its control of the PlayStation Store. Sony uses this dominance to enforce strict terms and conditions on game developers and publishers. These terms allow Sony to set the price of digital games and in-game content and charge a 30% commission on every purchase of digital games and in-game content from the PlayStation Store. This results in
that's
excessive
fine,
and
just
unfair
don't,
prices to
like-
consumers for their digital games and in-game content. These prices are all out of proportion to the costs of Sony providing these services to consumers. So basically they're saying that Sony has used its dominant position in the market to unfairly overcharge consumers. Now, for reference, this was filed in the UK, and a brand new PS5 game in the UK will cost you about £70, which is the equivalent to $82. So I do think they're getting fucked in the ass a bit here. It's quite an overcharge, if you ask me. And I'd love to see them win this lawsuit. You know, power to the players, as PlayStation says. But the more I read into it, the less confident I feel that they'll be able to Fortnite dance on the grave of Sony with this lawsuit. I don't really think they're going to get a big W from it. And let me just explain why I think that. I'd love to be proven wrong. Like I said, I think it would be great if they actually did win this lawsuit, because I do believe they're being overcharged. But I don't think they have the strongest case here. Just looking at these first 5 points, the first one just stands out as factually incorrect. They're claiming that Sony has a near monopoly on the sale of digital games and add-on content, which is just blatantly wrong. I would slap you with a fat F on your report card if you submitted this to me. Like, that is just not true. There's Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, there's so many other digital game vendors out there. It's not just Sony. Now, if you're talking about PlayStation exclusives, then yes, Sony has a monopoly on the digital sale of the PlayStation exclusives. But if that is the claim, it needs to be a lot more clear, because with the wording here, it just makes it sound like you think Sony is the only console to exist and the only platform for digital games, which it isn't. The other thing that was confusing my little reptile brain was that 30% commission they mentioned, talking about how the Sony demands 30% cut of digital game and in-game purchase sales from the developers. That's not exclusively just Sony. Xbox, Nintendo,
I
eShop,
can't
pretty much
turn
every
the mic
digital
up
game
because
vendor
then
has
the
some kind of
keyboard will be,
commission
like,
that they
even louder.
force.
I just
It's
have to
not
talk
just
out.
Sony, so I don't understand why they would target them specifically, since it's the industry norm. But I decided to spread the cheeks a little further, dig a bit deeper, and listen to what the UK consumers were saying. And it seems to be that in the competitors' shops, like the Nintendo eShop, for example, they adjust their prices so that way the conversion makes sense and they're not being overcharged. Like, a new Nintendo Switch game is £50, which when converted to like US dollars is about what we're paying in the States. However, when it comes to the PlayStation Store, that's not the case. So a new PlayStation 5 game in the States is $70, and in the UK it's £70. However, that converts to a lot more. That's 82 US dollars. They are just blatantly paying more. Instead of adjusting that price down to like £60 or whatever, they just keep it at that 70, and thus they're being overcharged. At least that's what I was reading from the UK consumers, which again, at the end of the day, it's blatantly obvious that they are paying a lot more for games than we are in the States, and I totally do agree that it is a ripoff. And Alex Neal, the top representative, has 14 years of experience as a consumer rights advocate, so it's not some joke of a lawsuit that was haphazardly thrown together by a faceless nobody. This isn't like that situation on Twitch where that guy tried to sue Twitch for like $100 million because he couldn't stop watching female streamers and ejaculating, and he tried to blame Twitch for a porn addiction. This isn't that case. This is a real, legitimate case that Alex Neal has put together, but I just don't this just seems like another desperate effort to throw something at the wall and see what sticks. The business model of gaming has changed dramatically over recent years. The move from games sold as physical discs to games sold digitally has seen the introduction of in-game content, where players must now also pay to progress, unlock more features, or customize their experience with new characters or weapons. Games are now designed to incentivize players to spend as much money as possible, including children. We believe that customers are paying too much for these digital products and that they deserve to be treated better by Sony and compensated. Our legal action is the first of its kind against Sony in the UK. Now, I am never a fan of the children argument. I don't see why they put this here at all, because this doesn't even really run in line with what the lawsuit is for. This is talking about how predatory microtransactions have become the norm, which they have, and it's a huge issue. But that's not what this lawsuit is really about. It's not being overcharged by the PlayStation Store. Talking about predatory and greedy marketing practices from these games that are preying on children, or like fucking massive dopamine hits, dopamine fiends to spend more money is an issue, yes, but it's not the issue that you're really aiming at here. You're not putting that in the crosshairs. And it's also not like Sony's the puppet master forcing all these developers to be greedy and put these microtransactions in the game. Like, let's say Diablo Immortal's on PS5. Sony has no say-so in what way they monetize that game. It's on their platform, sure, but it was Blizzard that decided to put all of those terrible, terrible microtransactions in there that are preying on, you know, people with a spending problem or children or whatever, not Sony. Now, if the argument Sony keeps those prices too high, then yes, I suppose there's a real argument to be made there that the price is still too high, but the way this is framed makes it sound like it was Sony that decided to put all of those there when it wasn't. It wasn't their decision to have all those predatory business practices baked into those games. That was the developers. I just don't really get why it's mentioned here, because let's say Sony brings the price down so that way it's more fair across the board, where, you know, if you're buying a microtransaction in the game in the UK, it costs exactly the same as what it costs me to buy it in the States. It still doesn't solve the core issue that you're bringing up here with the games being predatory, right? Like, this whole paragraph here is like almost like fear-mongering. Like, games have become really greedy, and it's partly Sony's fault to some degree, which is why we believe you need to be compensated fairly, and we believe you need to be treated better. Like, what exactly do you mean? Again, getting the price down on microtransactions doesn't solve the problem you just highlighted of them being greedy and intrusive. That's still going to exist, even if you win every single case.
Not both.
Those microtransactions are still going to be there from the developers because it wasn't Sony that put them there. And just one last thing, in the press release, Neil wrote, "The game is up for Sony PlayStation. This legal action, I am standing up for the millions of UK people who have been unwittingly overcharged. We believe Sony has abused its position and ripped off its customers." Alex Neil hits us with an anime protagonist line saying, "The game's up, Sony. I caught you with your pants down, red-handed. It's time to face the music." And then in the press release, they also kind of frame it like the consumers didn't know they were being overcharged. But I just don't know how true that is. They kind of hint that it's Sony's fault that the consumers didn't know they were being overcharged. Like Sony was doing underhanded business tactics. When I just don't know if I believe that, because Sony doesn't really do anything besides just have a platform with a game and the price that's it. And you choose whether or not to buy it. Now, if you're not comparing that to the rest of the world's prices, then yeah, you have no idea. You're paying more than I am, for example. But it's not like it was Sony that was doing anything to mislead them, at least not that I've ever seen. They just put the games on their service with how much they cost, and it's up to the consumer if they find it to be a reasonable price or not. Now, if they do any research, they'll realize that they're paying more, and Australia especially is paying more than I am. Which is fucked up because there's no reason for it, but I don't think Sony has done anything to try and lead them down some false belief or anything. I think it's just a matter of they've been charging more and no one's really been questioning it, so they haven't changed it. And that's it. They haven't really been doing any kind of like propaganda to try and fool people into thinking that, you know, everyone's paying the same thing. And now that people are waking up to them being exploited, I think it's great that they're, you know, upset about it, because I don't think it's right. I don't think they should be paying more for no reason for the same game. It doesn't make any sense. But I just don't really like the way they talk about it in the press release, because they're putting that onus on Sony. That it was, you know, them keeping people in the dark when it wasn't. They just put the they win this class action lawsuit, and hopefully the prices do change, because, like I said, it's a whole bunch of baloney that you're paying significantly more money for the same game in the UK, Australia, wherever else. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for that. So hopefully this does bring about positive change, and wishing them the best of luck. I just wanted to bring this up because it's a big lawsuit. That's about it. So, yeah, over the years, I've made a lot of content insulting YouTube videos aimed at kids. Things like Finger Family, Don't Call Slenderman at 3 a.m. challenge, I ordered a 5 Nights at Freddy's potion off of the dark web and got arrested, Poppy's playtime haunts me and now I'm institutionalized, things like that. And
What
I
the
know
fuck?
it's low-hanging fruit, but it doesn't matter, because it makes me feel like a big strong man, shitting on things that are aimed at 4-year-olds. They have horrible taste and I need to remind them of how stupid they are for liking this dog shit. But today, I actually found something very special that I'd like to share with all of you. If that intro didn't put you on the edge of your seat with foam in your mouth, just salivating for more, then I don't know what's wrong with you. This editing is so fast-paced it'll feel like a seizure, but it's actually just your body's natural reaction to such a fucking banger video. This is Jay Hills, baby. He's the goddamn Christopher Nolan of 3 a.m. videos on YouTube. He's the new sheriff on this block ever since Jay Station was banished from the Shadow Realm. But I wouldn't say that Jay Hills content just targets children. I'd say it's appropriate for all ages. Anyone of any age can appreciate this kind of fire. That's called science. This man is a modern sorcerer, bringing back the ancient ways. So he's creating a baby long-legged voodoo doll using a Caillou potion. That's fucking genius. I'm sure all of you are familiar with baby longlegs. I mean, superstar of the Poppy Playtime franchise. This is very dangerous, alright? Jay Hills is putting his life on the line for the sake of our entertainment.
Which is the DNA right over here, guys. This is actually the baby long legs potion right over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just give it a little bit of a hole, and I'm gonna dump a little bit of the potion inside of the voodoo doll, and then I'm gonna give baby long legs a little bit of a call, and I wanna see if he'll actually come to my house to see if we can actually start playing with the baby long legs. Maybe we can make him do some flips. Maybe he can like start crying. And
A pretty expertly crafted plan. So he's going to be using some binding spells here of using the baby longlegs potion, cutting a hole in the Caillou, pouring it in, and then inviting baby longlegs over with a phone call to try and possess him. So really, baby longlegs is completely innocent here. Jay Hills is the villain. He's the mad scientist, the Frankenstein creating a monster. Baby longlegs is hanging out right now, about to get a phone call for a play date, all excited, only to get fucking ambushed by a goddamn YouTube wizard who just starts making him do flips. Like, I feel bad for baby longlegs right now. It's hard to root for Jay in this one. He's not the hero. Now I want to say, Jay Hills is an innovator. Most people stop making 3AM videos because that genre is completely dead, but Jay Hills has got it on life support right now. And while most people who make 3AM videos targeted 4-year-olds, Jay Hills is targeting 4-day-olds. Like, this shit is for French babies that still can't even open their eyes. His videos are just a series of high-pitched noises and sound effects. It's mind-blowing. So you can tell he's putting on a fake voice here. This is how he actually sounds. I'm pretty sure he just like cups helium in between each jump cut, and there's like a million jump cuts here. So
at the end of it, we're literally gonna be killing baby long legs, guys.
What the
So
fuck?
excited for this video. Make sure to go down there, smash that like button.
yeah, make sure to smash that like button for premeditated murder. Fucking epic. Baby longlegs won't see it coming.
And just like that, we have a little baby long legs toy right over here. Oh my god, that's me, baby long legs. Yo, let me know in the comments. Does this look exactly like baby long legs? I can't believe I actually did it.
Oh my god, be careful, Jay. Baby longlegs is already infiltrated. He's already broken into the house. He's already been burglarized. Baby longlegs is already in the room with him. He's in the headquarters. Wow, that is scarily accurate. He had me fooled. I don't know why he called it a baby longlegs toy. All he did use a couple of crayons and draw baby long legs poorly and then cut it out. It's not really a toy, it's just a drawing. I don't know why he's saying toy.
Side of it, the most important part is the DNA. So if you got the DNA, you're actually perfectly good. Well, first thing I gotta do is I gotta remove the clothing on this wall.
Whoa, hey, now, that's going a little too far. Good lord, that's illegal.
Like his contact name and his picture is actually right over there, so we'll actually call him. I don't know who's gonna be answering, guys. I feel like it's actually gonna be baby long legs.
Jeepers, creepers, it sounds like that edible's hitting
penis.
real hard. Baby Longlegs is struggling on this phone call here. It sounds like he's out of it, pretty close to an overdose even perhaps. But Jay's talking to him, they engage in a conversation. It sounds like Elmo having a argument with himself, because obviously, I'll go ahead and break the illusion. Jay was the one doing the Baby Longlegs voice pre-recorded, so it's Jay talking to himself, and it's a fucking work of art, honestly. So Jay sets the track and says he likes toys. Baby Longlegs says, I love every toy in the world. So it looks like he's coming over.
Do you like toys? I know you love toys. You know what? I want nothing. Maybe I gotta shake it one more time for him to actually come. I'm literally shaking him. Oh,
That little son of a bitch actually decided to show his face in Jay's house, and it's the last mistake he'll ever make. He came here looking for toys, but all he's gonna find is death. So Jay's got him right where he wants him. He took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. You saw Baby Longlegs kind of trotting along across the upstairs area,
Can't judge me.
none the wiser to the danger that he was in. I've also got to say, Baby Longlegs doesn't look anything like he does in the actual game. In the real world here, he's much smaller. He's also got like a full beard, I think. So he's not even a baby unless, of course, it's Benjamin Button. You know, so it's very misleading in the game, because in real life, as you can see here, Baby Longlegs is very, very different. He did it! He stabbed Baby Longlegs! Oh my god! Woo! The evil is defeated! Wow. Dear God, he's stronger than we could have ever imagined. He got stabbed in the head, but Baby Longlegs continues to just zoom around here. Yo, that was literally the fucking most extreme thing I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Baby Longlegs was scaling the wall thanks to the voodoo magic from Jay. And then he literally dropped him from the wall, sending him plummeting straight to hell. Yo, that was fucking nuts. Honestly, this was a pretty impressive video from start to finish. What Jay was able to do here is nothing shy of heroic. I think this was extremely brave to take on an entity as powerful as Baby Longlegs in his own house too. He brought Baby Longlegs in and took care of business. So hats off to him for this one, and luckily the world is safer for Jay's efforts here. And I just wanted to share this with all of you because I think it's important we realize that not all 3 a.m. videos are bad. That's about it. So yeah. For a long time, I've mentioned that parents of famous children, whether it be child actors, TikTok stars, YouTubers, whatever, are usually just some of the worst parents on the planet. Just straight up awful. You just hear time and time again about how these parents lead their kids down destructive talks about some awful shit Nickelodeon did to her, and her mom's response to it was things like, "That's just the price of showbiz. You know, you gotta shake it off. This is what it means to be famous. All the girls would love to be in the position you're in. Don't be so ungrateful." Just horrible things. The mom was well aware of everything that Nickelodeon was doing to her daughter and didn't care. In fact, even piled it on by calling her names and doing other horrible shit. So she just sounds like Shao Kahn. And I know a lot of people were upset with the title of the book. It's kind of aggressive. I'm glad my mom died. Not exactly a Dr. Seuss book title, but I think most people would be somewhat relieved when the boogeyman in their life passes. So I understand where the name is coming from after reading some of it. I haven't finished it, but it's really interesting and very fucking sad. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it ties into a topic that I want to talk about today that I just learned about. I'm sure all of you have heard of the name Addison Rae by now. She's one of the biggest stars on TikTok, and she's gotten so famous that it extends well beyond TikTok. So even if you're not big on the platform like me, you still at least know her name. Well, her dad is a fucking weirdo, and he has torn apart their family for the sake of his own clout chasing.
Can I get up?
That's someone's father. That's a 46-year-old man posting some fine, distilled, twice folded over, double caked up cringe on me. This is Addison Rae's dad. And he, of course, did what every other TikTok parent does. He made his own account. He has like 5.4 million followers. And he threw away his entire family in order to try and make money off of his daughter's name and become famous himself. But not only that, he used his pseudo-celebrity status of being the parent of a famous person to allegedly flirt with 19 and 20-year-olds. He even was having a 5-month affair here with a girl that's less than half his age. He allegedly cheated on his wife multiple times, and they eventually got a divorce. He also has 2 other sons, which I can't imagine how awful the situation must be for the whole family, but them in particular, since they're still super young and obviously in tune with social media, they're seeing all of the unhinged, wild shit their father's doing, and it has to be soul-crushing. I feel so terrible for the entire family, and it's gotten so bad they've sounded the DEFCON alert system. Almost every TikTok influencer in the space has told at least one story about Monty Lopez being creepy to them, and they need like a restraining order or something where Monty Lopez can't be within 5 miles of a TikTok influencer because he sniffs this shit out like a goddamn
thought there was another break. Shit. Oh my god, bro. I don't want to continue, bro. Hi, Matsum. And bye, stream. I'm pissed. I don't want to play it anymore. Why is this so shit? Genuinely, I just need to open up about this for a second. Why the fuck is this level so terribly annoying? It is just horrible. Every time I open this level, every fucking time I open this level, I immediately feel the need to just shove a knife down my throat. Just fucking kill myself. I fucking hate this level. I genuinely fucking hate it. I'd rather hang myself than be playing this shit anymore. I just don't want... No! Why would I leave the chart? I'm 75% into the chart. Can people please stop saying leave the chart? Even my fucking parents are saying that. Leaving is not an option. That is not a solution. I just don't know how to fucking cope with this shit. It's just stupid. It's retarded. Who the fuck thought of making this? It's genuinely just a fucking gamble. Rather, my ADHD kicks in or it doesn't. And it's just so fucking annoying. It is just so terrible. And I don't know what to do anymore. I really don't. No, I won't stop complaining. I can complain as much as I want. It's just pissing me off. I can complain as much as I want. But it's still like... I'm gonna have to continue either way. But I just need to get the steam off to fucking just indicate to everyone that this is pissing me off. Like, it is so terrible playing. It's actually just a terrible playing experience. I fucking hate it. Genuinely. It's just shit. It's just terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna stop playing this now because I'm just pissed. The thing is, I lose focus. It's like an hour. It's like an hour of gameplay and I lose focus right after I die like semi-far into a run. Like, it's just stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. You know, normally an hour of grinding is enough, but that's like barely 3 runs for this grind. That's the problem. You need like ultra time, ultra focus. I'm gonna fucking throw some ADHD pills for this shit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna offline grind like maybe tomorrow because this is just genuinely pissing me off. And I can't keep this pissiness like on the streams. Plus I'll maybe do a day where I like play like grind to 30 mix and then I stop and do something else. I don't know, play Minecraft and then I come back to 230 and I'll do that back and forth so my concentration resets. But for now, I'm just gonna fucking end the stream because it's pissing me off. So yeah, thank you all for watching and goodbye.